Hi everyone, Scorp here with another deck profile for Duelist of the Roses Redux mod. Today I'm going to actually start off by playing a duel and showing kind of how this deck works, and then I will go through what cards I put in it. This is actually not even a full power version of the deck because I had to keep my deck costs lower. Wow, what a terrible hand. We can finish on Change of Heart. What'd you play? Not the most effective, but... Wow, he drew terribly this time. It's okay. We're not in any chance of losing the duel. Okay. Go ahead and draw ourselves a new hand. Draw some more. Go ahead and play that. Turn 3, by the way. Now we just need to draw a Tremendous Fire. And we win the duel. And we pretty much bricked turn 1. We drew as bricky as we could turn 1, and this is the result. So this is my response to asking for what I would consider my ultimate deck. This is one of those decks that is absolutely degenerate. This is the kind of deck that you just play and like if you were in a tournament setting where it was like Hearthstone's tournament rules where you once you play a deck you can't play it again, and you bring 3 different decks to the format. This deck is just absolutely degenerate. The only thing that stops this deck is having 3 Temple of Skulls and 3 Goblin Fans in your deck. And even then, if you don't draw pretty well, you might just lose. And this deck can also just FDK. I have definitely done that to the computer before. Absolutely disgusting deck. So let's go through it real quick. Starting off, Moisture Creature. This decreases the level cost of my Immortals by 1. You could also do this with Carrot Idol and a couple of the other Immortals. You could also do this deck using a Winged Beast that's level 6, and then that would just decrease the cost of Fiend Reflections. I am using Immortals because I put Jowls of Dark Demise in the deck, which is completely an optional card, but I just put it in because it's a cheaper version of Change of Heart, and it's somewhat of an alternate win condition, so that's why it's in the deck. So going first off, there's 3 Magician of Faiths. These are just card extenders. if you were not restricting yourself to 1900 deck costs so you could actually play against this Immortal opponent, I would have these as 3 Grave Robbers, because they don't cost summoning power. But this is basically a so this is just a Grave Robber on a stick. It's just a cheaper version of it, so that's why there's Magician of Faith here, times 3. Fiend Reflection times number 2, times 3. These are secondary Solomon's Law books. So unfortunately they're 4 stars, but you saw how fast you can get through your deck, especially using these, so these are great. Basically your goal is to play 2 Ruryokus on these, and then discard it with a Tremendous Fire and use a Tremendous Fire to win the game, because that's 4,000 damage. If you were in like a tournament setting where we started with 8,000 life points, you can go triple Ruryoku Tremendous Fire turn 1, and open and win the game, FTK style. That also gives this deck a ton of reach. Ruryoku can do upwards of 5,000 damage in a single turn. 2 of them can do up to 7,500. Add on a Tremendous Fire. Anything up to 4,000 life points dies to 2 Ruryokus and a Tremendous Fire. You can set up a turn before playing down just a Tremendous Fire, and then Ruryoku creature, and then a Tremendous Fire, and you can get to the 8,000 damage range. So that's how this deck works. Jowls of Dark Demise, these are basically just substitutes for 3 Brain Controls, because these are cheaper. But they're also alternate win conditions, since these are permanent. Really, you use Change of Heart and Brain Control as just extra, they're just extra, like, oh, my opponent didn't play around everything that this deck can possibly do? Guess they're dead. So, absolutely ridiculous. 3 Rigus Levers. As you saw, these can help you get through your deck a lot quicker. So your hand doesn't have a Solomon's Law book or a Fiend Reflection number 2 first turn. You can play one of these face down, while dumping the rest of your hand. You draw the next turn, you don't get a Solomon's Law book, you just flip your Rigus Lever, and then you draw another 5 cards, and hopefully you draw the cards that you need to get through your deck quickly. You can cycle through the majority of your deck in like 3 turns. You should be able to see all the cards that you need to kill your opponent in 3 turns. Lots of times this deck kills on the 2nd turn with an OTK. Mimicat, this is just an extra copy of all of your Tremendous Fires or Ruryokus if you need them. 3 copies of Dark Hole. This is an out to Goblin Fan, so if you suspect your opponent play Goblin Fan, you can Dark Hole it. 3 copies of Heavy Storm, same thing, gets rid of that Goblin Fan. 3 copies of Ukazi, a little extra damage reach. These could easily be just desserts, but I didn't feel like making this deck the most expensive thing that's ever existed. 3 copies of Tremendous Fire. These are your finisher, generally. If you do open triple Ruryoku with a creature, you could finish off with Ukazi also. Dark Piercing Light, this lets you flip over and see that your opponent has a trap that you don't want to deal with, like Goblin Fan. 3 copies of Change of Heart. Basically, your opponent has a creature you want to take control of that's right next to the deck leader, and it'll do 2,000 to him. Take control of him and hit them with it. I mean, opponent played a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon and didn't move it far enough away from the deck leader. This might be lethal. And just awful cards to have to play around. magical neutralizing force field. If your opponent has played that Goblin Fan and it's gotten triggered, which you can also trigger the Yukazi, you can get rid of it with this card. So these are all of these cards to just get rid of that problem. There's not really a good way to get rid of Temple of Skulls in the entire game, unless I wanted to drop like 3 Shadow of Eyes and 3 Gorgon's Eyes in this deck. But traps are too slow, so I don't really want to play them. And I'm playing so much hate cards for the Goblin's Fan that I probably will get rid of them anyways. Not to mention the fact that if you just go first, you might not even have to worry about it. Then 3 copies of Solomon's Lawbook. These are just to make you go faster. These help you get through your deck. Uryoku's, I've talked about them at length. These are for dealing damage to your opponent, and that's the end of the deck. This is an incredibly expensive deck. These are reincarnation only. These 3 are actually in the graveyard slots after you get them from hidden card. These 3 are reincarnation only, reincarnation only, reincarnation only. Dark holes are slot rares. Heavy storms are in the slots after getting them from a hidden card. Ukazi is probably maybe in the slots from Shoddy. Tremendous Fires are reincarnations. Piercing Lights, reincarnation. Change of Hearts, reincarnation. MNF is in the slots, but he's against one of the bosses. Solomon's Lawbook is reincarnation only, and then Buryoku is also reincarnation only. So this deck is a ton of reincarnation, and it really costs a lot of deck cost. So here's another duel against Manawinin. I'm not going to bother pulling up Cheat Engine and decreasing my deck cost to 0 because that's just silly. This deck plays the same against every opponent. We have drawn very poorly. I'll just throw a Change of Heart out there so that I can just throw whatever he summons back at him. That's a trap, so I don't care about it. Just get rid of these cards and Solomon's Lawbook. Tremendous Fire by itself is not very useful. It's not worth just holding in your hand because it's just a finisher. So again, we can go ahead. Actually, if I held it in my hand, I would have had lethal here. But that's rare. I'm just gonna set up lethal, use Mimicat to add Tremendous Fire back. And again, this is another 3-turn kill, and our opponent can't really do anything about this. Killing in 3 turns is pretty much the standard of there is no fighting against a 3-turn kill unless you can do something to disrupt the 3-turn kill. On top of that, if I did it correctly the previous turn where I hadn't put that Tremendous Fire in the grave, which can be considered a misplay, but it could also not be, just depending on how your draws line up. But you can say whether it was or not. It's pretty much based on RNG. I think I made the correct play. It didn't end up being the right play for what the order was, but that just kind of happens sometimes. So again, I'm going to dump the Tremendous Fire. Try to keep as much summoning power as I can, because I have a Winged Reflection in my hand. Here I can discard all of these cards. I still have a Tremendous Fire in my deck, so I don't really mind that I'm discarding. So I'm going to end on this Tremendous Fire. Just leave it face down. Since it's the last one. But I went through 14 cards in my deck. I will be seeing cards down to 21 now. So let's see here. I have 2 Solomon's Law books, so I will use both of them searching for Ruryokus. I need a 1-star creature to play a Ruryoku on. I'm gonna keep this just because I haven't quite remembered how many 1-cost cards I have left. And I'd like to kill him this turn, if possible. I did not draw lethal. So I am going to grab just a Change of Heart and put it face down. So if he had a Tremendous Fire, he would have played it. I will just kill him with that creature if I can. I will at least make the attempt on his life with it. Or I won't because I drew lethal. But I also had Change of Heart to try to kill him. Even if I Gravity Binded his own creature, I could have also Mirror Forced it. That would have been slightly unfortunate, but is what it is. And one more just to try to actually get a 2-turn kill in here. FTKs are hard, just because you don't have enough summoning power, but 2- and 3-turn kills are pretty easy and common with this deck. We'll just get rid of everything and go next on my hand. And we'll finish out with a Tremendous Fire being left face down. So we drew a Solomon's Law book, so I will just go through like this. It'll be kind of sad if we draw like a Fiend Reflection and we can't get rid of it, but well, this will be lethal next turn. Also, this is kind of what his deck, our opponent's deck, is based on. So I can Ruryoku this, flip Magician of Faith for another copy of Ruryoku. It'll go in front of you because that's just where the game prioritizes it. And then Tremendous Fire for lethal. Again, another super quick win with this deck. It's going to be hard in a PvP setting for your opponent to actually get to you in time to stop you from this, especially with all of the disruption that you're playing. So again, there's really only just that little bit that your opponent can do to try to stop you. It's just going to be so hard though. But then again, I mean, this deck is using a whole bunch of really expensive cards. So if you have any sort of deck cost limit, playing all of the disruption along with this is really, really difficult. Make sure you don't accidentally play the Fiend Reflection onto the Crush terrain. Not that I'd ever do something like that, but, you know, just watch out for it. I don't remember if I dumped a Tremendous Fire in my grave. If I did, I can grab that. But what I'm probably going to actually take here, I'm just going to take a Solomon's Law Book, so I can use that a second time next turn. This just gives me even more ability to just dig through my deck. And that's my entire goal here, is to just dig through my deck as fast as I possibly can. Just dump every card. I really only need to draw a Tremendous Fire, so... And I haven't seen one in the top 17 cards of my deck, so hopefully I see one in the top 22. And I did. So, 2-turn lethal. If I'd drawn slightly better, it might have been a first turn kill. There's a bunch of ways you can do this so you can't even heal through it. You could set up a Tremendous Fire the first turn and then do the double Ryokyu Tremendous Fire the second, and then another... And then you're set Tremendous Fire to get through people trying to heal through it. So, this is just an unbelievably degenerate deck, and this is what I'd probably play for if I wanted to just, like, make a younger Assembly extremely annoyed at me for playing ridiculously strong things. So, thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.